All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Real Talk, Power Rankings Edition. It's week 17, last week of the NFL season. Jeff here, joined by Brad. Brad, what's up, man?
Dude, it feels good to be back in the W column. Got to be honest with you. Never had a
Yeah,
doubt though. Knew we were going to beat the Colts, easy win. But I'm kind of excited, but it's kind of surreal that we're on our last Real Talk ranking podcast of the season here. 2021 is 2 days away. It's kind of just here, just here. It's been super fun. Time's been flying by.
time has flown by. I mean, I don't think we've missed. I'd have to go back and look, but I don't think we've missed a Power Rankings episode yet.
Nope, I think this is only twice that we've had to move it to a Wednesday too. So we've been
yeah. These have been fun. I put probably too much time into this list every single week, and I know you do too. We never share them, and this is the last time we're going to give a list because after this, we're going to be talking strictly playoffs. Who cares about who the top 10 teams are? Let's just see who's going to beat who. But as of today, I'll start off. Top 10 teams going to week 17. You ready?
run it.
Let's go. Coming in at number 10, first time in a long time, Baltimore Ravens, baby. 10-5, plus 130, best in the league. They are on a 4-game winning streak, which is, I think, only like third or fourth best in the league. I mean, there's only a couple teams that have a bigger winning streak. And then they are the number one rushing offense. I mean, there's a lot to like about this team. Obviously, they've had their issues. They were one of the many teams, affected by COVID throughout the season. And this is a good football team. The crazy thing is this team still has a shot to make and miss the playoffs, and they're 10-5. They could, I believe they are one of the situations where it's win and you're in. So as long as they win this weekend, they are in. I like them at 10. Coming in at number 9. Man, this team is good defensively. It's the Miami Dolphins. They're 10-5, plus 96 on the year. They've won 2 in a row. They're number 1 in points allowed, so that's the fewest points in the league. They're number 1 in turnover differential, tied with the Titans, and they're number 1 in takeaways, tied with the Steelers. Lots to like about this team. My only issue with them, and I've said it last week, and you kind of disagreed, but I mean, it almost proved to be right. Tua, man, I just don't know how I feel about Tua. I almost wish Fitzpatrick was in there. Obviously, the Fitzmagic thing happened last week, and I just wish they had a better quarterback situation going into the playoffs. I'm not cool with the whole you get 2 innings, you get 2 innings, you get 2. It's not working for me. That's the only thing I dislike. Coming in at number 8, up 2 spots from last week. I had them at 10. I got them at 8 this week. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're back, 12-3, plus 106 on the year. They're on a 1-game win streak coming off the win against the Colts. And they're number 2 in points allowed. They don't allow a lot of points. They're very stingy, and they're number 1 in takeaways. They take the ball away. I would like this team more. I liked what I seen. I told you that if I liked what I seen, I would give them some credit. They have a lot of work to do, but they're beatable. But they can also beat anybody. I like the team. They're number 8. Number 7, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're up a couple spots this week. 10-5, plus 120 on the year. That's as good as anybody really. They're on a 3-game win streak. Number 3 in takeaways. They have the best run defense in the entire league by it's like 20 yards. I mean, they dominate in the run game every week. And, obviously Tom Brady's had as good a season as anybody passing the football this year. I know we talked a lot about Russell Wilson early on in the year. As of today, Tom Brady has a better stat line than him on the year. We don't really talk about it enough because the Bucs have had a couple of weird games, but it's a damn good football team. We'll keep it moving here. I didn't hurt this team too much. I dropped them a couple spots, but it's the Tennessee Titans at 10-5. Plus 49 on the year. They're losers of 1 right now. They lost to the Packers. But they have a lot of things to like. Lots of things. Derrick Henry, number 1 in the league in rushing. Okay. They're number 2 in giveaways. They do not give the ball away. They only have 11 total on the year. And they're number 1 in turnover differential, tied with the Dolphins. The only thing that's bad is they allow everybody and their brother to pass the ball on them. That's really it. So when they get the run game going, which they unfortunately were not able to do in a snow game against the Packers, they're the best team as far as leading a football game. Once they have the lead, it's so hard to beat them. Unfortunately, Packers jumped out on them and walked away. Let's go to number 5 here. The New Orleans Saints. They're 11-4 on the year. Matter of fact, I forgot their point differential, but it doesn't matter.
I have it here if you want it.
Yeah, what's their point differential?
119.
119. So, I mean, obviously they're just beating down people. They've won one game in a row, and they're 29.9 points per game, just a shed under 30, is fourth best in the league. I like this team. I like them defensively. I don't love them. I like the Tennessee Titans more as far as what they're able to do, but I just think the Saints are a better football team completely. They have less holes in their game than the Titans do, I guess. Drew Brees it's going to be an interesting fit where he's going to have to play in this playoffs. I don't like him in cold weather games at all. And right now, I have two NFC teams ahead of him, and both are cold weather games. So I just don't love them moving forward in the playoffs, but we'll see. Number 4, I like this team a lot. They've grown on me. I loved them early. I know you did too. I like them now. Seattle, 11-4 on the year, plus 85. They've won 3 games in a row. The only thing I hate about this team is their pass defense. It's not just the worst of anybody on this list, but it's the worst in the entire league. They have the worst pass defense in the whole league. That's really my only complaint about this team. But they've seemed to have gotten better with people getting healthy and bringing in different players. And what this team's doing right now is why I have them so high. Big win over the Rams this week. Number 3, I was iffy on number 2 and 3, but I'm okay with this. It's the Buffalo Bills at 12-3, plus 96 on the year, winners of 5 in a row, and they've won, I believe, 7 of 8 or 8 of 9. Their only loss was on the Hail Murray. I mean, that's literally it. So here's my problems with this team. They have 20 turnovers on the year. It's by far the worst of anybody on this list, and it's double what the next team on my list is going to have, okay? But they have the weirdest. They're good in so many areas, and I'm just going to go over a few of them. So they're number 2 in total first downs, okay? Unfortunately, they're the 5th most penalized team. But then listen to where categories they're number 1 in. This is really weird. They're number 1 in punt yards or yards per punt. They're number 1 in kickoff return average. They're number 1 on third down. They convert 50%. They're the only team in the league that converts at least 50% of the time. And they're number 2 on fourth down. They convert 80% of the time. They're number 1 in drives ending in points. 50% of their drives end in points. It's by far the best in the league. And they're number 1 in division wins, tied with the Saints. There's a lot to love about this team, but I just think they're not as good as the 2 teams above them. Number 2, Green Bay, 12-3, number 100 plus 121 on the year. They're also winners of 5 in a row. Number 1 in scoring, number 1 in giveaways. They do not give it up, and they score a ton of points. 31.6 is the best in the league. And they made short work of a team that I love, the Tennessee Titans. They really have one bad loss on the year, if you really think about it, and that was to the Tampa Bay Bucs. And the Bucs aren't a bad team, so I'm just really not sure why we've been as hard on them as we have in the past. They're very good. I'm moving with them at 2. Number 1, you know who it is, Kansas City, 14-1, plus 128, winners of 10 in a row. That's double anybody else. Everybody else is on a 5 or less. They're 10 in a row. Number 1 in total first downs, 4th most penalized team in the league. So, I mean, that's their one flaw. They're penalized a ton. They're pretty reckless in that sense, but nobody scores it like them.
Yeah, that's a solid list. A lot of our teams are similar, but we actually only have 2 teams in the same spot on this list, which is fun. I'm going to go ahead and start with just a quick note on some of the teams I left off. I think in 14th spot, because I have a lot of the playoff teams set for the NFC East here.
Yeah, that's fine.
The Bears are one of the hottest teams. I just don't think they're quite in the top 10 yet, but they are certainly, if they get into the playoffs, whoever that 2 seed ends up being, I don't think it's a walk in the park when the Bears come in. Then right after them, the Rams, terrible loss to the Jets, and they couldn't get anything going against the Seahawks. And now their quarterback has a broken hand or finger, and it's just kind of a mess. The Rams kind of imploded. The second I got super high on the Rams, I was there. I blew them up. So they're there. Browns, we all know what happened to them against the Jets. Kind of blew it there. And then it was hard to leave this team out. But at number 11, I do have the Dolphins. I really like their defense, but as you alluded to, I've flipped the script. I don't like what they're doing at quarterback. I don't think it's sustainable. And I saw an interesting question. Is this a must-win game for Tua coming up against the Bills? If he has to be substituted out again, they have the third pick in the draft. Do we see Tua go somewhere? I'm sure they'd like the 10th or 11th pick from the Patriots. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens there with Tua. That's another time. But I'll start my list at number 10. The Colts. They were beating the Steelers for 2.5 quarters, and then the Steelers from the first 3 months showed up. I still think they're one of the most balanced teams. They have a lot of good players across their entire team. It's just Phillip Rivers. Is he going to be able to keep doing what he's doing? But they're 10-5. They don't have many losing streaks or win streaks. It's kind of been scattered, hit and miss. But I like the Colts at 10. Number 9, I have the Titans, and they took a pretty big fall to number 9. 2 reasons. One, I kind of just felt it was right to have them right with the Colts. I just don't really know who's really better there. And 2, this team has no pass rush. They can't stop the pass, and it seems like they're too reliant on their offense. Their offense had one bad game, and they got slaughtered by the Packers. So that's kind of scary to me. The Titans, anybody on this list can beat anybody, but I don't like the Titans. They've lost to a lot of teams on this list. Number 8, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're one of the few teams that on their day are untouchable. You just simply can't beat them. They have too many star players at too many star spots. I just don't want these last 4 games out of the bye week to kind of be fool's gold. We all knew this was going to happen. Falcons, Lions, Vikings. They were supposed to win these 4 games. They are. They decimated the Lions. That was pretty impressive. But at the same time, we're supposed to see this for the last 4 games out of the Bucks. They'll be a good playoff team. Number 7, the Pittsburgh Steelers. We just have those flip-flopped on our list a little bit. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows what happened at halftime. But the Steelers we saw for 2.5 months came out for that third quarter. Steelers scored on 3 of 5 straight drives, and one of the ones they didn't was a 4th and goal stop. Kudos to the Colts. But maybe I'm a little biased on the Steelers jumping them all the way up to 7. You could have them flip-flop with the Bucks, but in my opinion, the Dolphins are the only team I'll listen to for a case for best defense in the NFL. It's Pittsburgh Steelers in my opinion, but they're the 2. Number 6 is the team, just as a Steelers fan, that I am the most afraid of in the playoffs. The Baltimore Ravens. They're 10-5. They are unlike any other team. They have one of the best defenses in the NFL. I know they've been banged up here and there, but they're all starting to get healthy. The offense is completely unique, unlike any other offense. And Dez Bryant's actually playing pretty well for them, adding a little bit of a different change of pace, another big body guy that Lamar really can't miss. The Ravens are on a 4-game win streak, and they're winning quite dominantly. And we always talk about what you need late in the year. Running game. They're the best at it. And I know they haven't done it in the playoffs, but certainly in the regular season, they are the Ravens now that we thought they would be the whole season. Number 5, the New Orleans Saints. They're a good team. They have a great coach, Hall of Fame quarterback. They have Alvin Kamara, who just went for 6 touchdowns. They have a really good defense. I think they're clearly where the top 5 starts. But I do think it's pretty obvious that they're the 5th best team out of these 5 teams. So they're kind of right there at their own little spot at 5 for me personally. Number 4 is Seattle. Their defense, I believe if you do look at their pass defense, their statistics are so bad. But I think it's more what happened in the first half of the season. Since about week 9 or 10, this Seahawks defense has been what's winning them games almost more than what's losing them games. They have found out what works. Pete Carroll has figured it out. And this offense is still nuclear with Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. Chris Carson's got the running game going. I think the Seahawks are an incredibly difficult team to play with a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Those are the 2 we agree on. This is a spicy take. Chiefs are number 3 for me. And the reason why the Chiefs are number 3, their record's 14-1. And I wanted to have them at 2 until I saw what the Packers did to the Titans. So the Chiefs, they're an A.J. Terrell interception catch away from losing to the Falcons. They have 7 straight games where they've won by 6 or less points. And when it comes down to it, I know you can make the case the team's so good they're bored. They're just trying different stuff. They're running this and that. I don't buy that. I think they're trying to win every game by as many as they can. And I'm not saying people have figured out the Chiefs because they're still winning games. They're extremely good. But they're just, even though they're on a win streak, I don't think they're as hot as the next 2 teams. And you can flip flop them if you want. These top 3, I think, are unanimous. I have the Packers at number 2. They absolutely blew out the Titans, and I think it was impressive. I think it was more indicative of what's wrong with the Titans rather than what's right with the Packers. Did I say that right? What's wrong with the Titans rather than what's right with the Packers. But however, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, the defense, it's going to run through Lambeau in the NFC, and the Packers, I think, deserve to be in the top 2. So I have them at number 2, and number 1's the Bills. Outside of a Hal Murray, these guys should be playing for the number 1 seed. It's a 2-game skid that they had early against the Titans, which was a really weird week. Titans had that long week off COVID, came out and beat the Bills. Outside of that Hail Mary, this team should be 13-2, but the way Josh Allen is playing, Stephon Diggs, the whole offense seems unstoppable. You alluded to some of their statistics on offense with first downs, points, third downs, fourth downs. You can't get them off the field. And on defense, they had that injury to Tremaine Edmonds, their middle linebacker, for a couple of weeks. And when he came back, this defense has been getting progressively better. They have a lockdown corner, which is something you need in Tre'Davious White. They have a defense. When you're watching your TV every weekend, the Bills and the Packers for the past 3 or 4 weeks it just looks too easy. It just looks easier than what the Chiefs have been doing, but they're still winning games. This is all relative to what you think. The Chiefs have the best record. It's okay if you put them at 1. But in my opinion, the Bills and the Packers are the teams that are 1 and 2 in the league. But that's what I've got, and I'm super excited for the playoffs. You alluded to the Titans and Colts and all them, 10-5 teams possibly not making the playoffs. It's insane.
Yeah, I think you make a lot of strong points. Obviously the Packers probably had the most impressive win of the weekend. And this isn't just me being a homer, but I thought the Bills had an impressive win this weekend. The Patriots, they're probably they're probably the best 6-9 team out there. They really are. They don't score a lot, but they're very good defensively and they're very well coached. They typically don't beat themselves a lot. They're able to take it away, and really they've owned the Bills. They have owned the Bills for the last 20 years. And I mean, Josh Allen dismantled New England on Monday night. Just beat them down. Stephon Diggs, I mean, we talked about this throughout the year, but was there a better free agent acquisition this year than Stephon Diggs of the Bills? I don't think there was. I think that's number 1. It's got to be. It's got to be the best.
And
yeah,
you guys lost Stephon Diggs. You couldn't stop him.
Gilmore.
You had
Stephon Gilmore.
For Stephon. Did I say Diggs? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know what you meant. Gilmore on Diggs. Yeah.
Gilmore and Diggs was just running around out there.
Yeah. So I mean, I understand completely why you got the Bills there. I guess I'm not going to go so much into I think Kansas City's bored, but my prediction that they wouldn't lose another game the rest of the year won't come true because they're resting starters this week. They're probably going to end up losing the game. But I don't think this team loses another game with Patrick Mahomes starting a quarterback for the rest of this year. If Patrick Mahomes is playing in the fourth quarter, they're winning the game. Period. Point blank. Facts show that I'm right. I mean, they've lost one time, and now it goes. We're not just talking a year. We're talking like it's something staggering. The amount of games they've played at this point where they haven't lost.
So you think the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl again?
Yes, they're winning the Super Bowl. Absolutely. 100%.
Obviously,
I don't want them to. Just for a record, I do not want Patrick Mahomes to win another Super Bowl.
I think you would. I just question, did you see his pass in the fourth quarter to A.J. Terrell to end the game and seal the Falcons win?
You're talking about A.J. Terrell, the defender for the Falcons.
Correct. Did you see?
Not seen.
Okay. So, with the game on the line, and the Falcons are up 14-10, they know the Chiefs need a touchdown to win the game. Patrick Mahomes looks right and throws a pass. AJ Terrell jumps up. He's probably like 3 yards in front of Tyreek Hill. He jumps up and catches the ball. And as he lands on his back, the ball pops out of his hands. Like he has it in his hands. The game's over. Now, it'd be the first time he looks human because Mahomes, on a game-winning drive, threw a pick in the end zone. But I'm just saying, they haven't had the loss yet, but their trajectory, I believe, is going down. So, again, they are the favorites to win the Super Bowl. They are the 1 seed in the AFC. They are 14-1, and their record shows everything. But I know it takes a great game to beat them, but I truly believe there are teams right now that are better than the Chiefs, them being the Packers and Bills specifically.
Remains to be seen. We'll see.
Yeah, it does. You're absolutely right. Facts are definitely on your side. I'm just trying to.
Well, facts are on your side. I gave you a bazillion reasons why Buffalo's the best team in the league.
Well,
they're number one in such weird categories. You know what that tells me? Coaching. They are well coached.
Sean McDermott, fantastic.
What have I told you needs to beat the Chiefs? Coach, lockdown corner, Tre'Davious White, in a running game.
It comes from their quarterback, but I
understand. They get the yards. And they got a number one receiver. They got a guy they can go get to.
I don't even know if
you get Hundy today.
Running game is usually indicative to time of possession.
Yeah.
But I would replace running game with you just need to sustain drives.
Yes, and they do.
50% on third down, 80% on fourth is what you said, and they lead the league in first downs, not total but per game, or something like that.
No, they're number one in third down percentage, and they're number like 3 in actual first downs. But they keep drives moving.
Correct.
And they score on 50% of their drives.
Insane.
It's staggering. Like
also, you look at the Tennessee Titans, like kind of worrying about them if they win their division.
Yeah.
If they win their first round, they're either going to Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Kansas City. Like those are the teams. Like they did not look good in cold weather at all. Maybe it's just a fluke, but
I can't wait till next week and we're talking about matchups.
Yes,
because truly there are some matchups out there that don't benefit certain teams. I don't think the Tennessee Titans matchup benefits Kansas City. Obviously the pass defense or whatever, but Kansas City doesn't want a team that can run the football. They don't want that. And I understand they don't have a single corner because they really don't. They have nobody that can stop Kansas City offensively. The only thing that they can pray for is a cold weather game with a run game. I mean, that's it.
I also just some like for the AFC with all those 10-5 teams. The only one that doesn't control their own destiny,
the Colts,
is the Colts. The 5 teams that are 10-5, none of them play each other. So they all have win and they're in. If they lose, that's when it starts to get a little spicy. But the Colts are the only team that could win, go 11-5, and not make the playoffs.
Yeah,
just crazy.
I do have a couple of weird stats that when I was going over some things, I just wanted to share them real quick. There's 2 teams in the NFL that have yet to miss a field goal, not an extra point, but a field goal. Do you know who they are? They both are on both of our lists.
I don't think the Steelers have missed a field goal.
They've missed one field goal.
They missed one. Okay, I was gonna say I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, Bills, if all their points are ending in drives, have they missed one? I don't know.
They weren't even in the top 5, so I guess I don't know.
I just figured if they're ending so many drives in points, they got to be making their.
So it's Seattle is 22 of 22.
Okay.
Packers are 16 of 16, which is by far the lowest of any. There's not a lot. They're scoring touchdowns. They're not kicking field goals.
They've played 15 games and have 16 field goal attempts.
That's it. Yeah. Everybody else is in the 20s and 30s.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The next 2 best teams are the Giants in Pittsburgh. They've only missed 1 on the year. Atlanta's kicker, though, I wanted to bring this up.
Young Hoku.
Atlanta's, 36 made field goals this year. He's only missed 2. He's 36 of 38. It's by far the most.
One that he missed to send the game to overtime against the Chiefs was wicked. Wicked curve. That sucker just
yeah.
Oh, that was weird.
And obviously that's one of the reasons I brought that up because of that missed field goal. And then, and this is another great stat. So my top four teams are a little different than your top four or whatever. Actually, no, our top four. Yeah, okay. Kansas. Here's yards per play. This is a Vegas stat. Okay, this is very Vegas-driven stat. Point differential, yards per play. They're big into that. Number one in the league. It's a tie. Kansas City and this team. Not on either of our lists.
Yards per play? Texans?
The Texans. Every other team on this list is Super Bowl bound, except the Texans.
Texans can't sustain drives. It's got to be splash plays that get them down the field.
I just thought that was crazy. I'm like, that's nuts. That's really nuts that these are all Super Bowl level teams. So it's Kansas City, Texans, Packers, Titans, Bills. The Texans are there. They don't belong.
I put this in the Real Talk page, like not only to, peep TJ Watt a little bit, he does lead the league with 15 sacks.
Yeah.
But the fact that the Titans as a team only have 14 is disgusting. Because when they play with a lead, but like when you play with the lead, the other team has to start passing the ball. Like they can't get any pressure, and it's that I just feel like you got to have three things to win a Super Bowl. You got to have a quarterback, you got to be able to protect your quarterback, and you got to be able to get the other team's quarterback. That's something Colin Cowherd said a few years ago that I thought was super simple, made a lot of sense. Do you have a quarterback, an O-line to protect them, and you can get theirs?
Yeah.
The Titans have an O-line, and they have a quarterback, but they cannot get the other team's quarterback. And when you start to play some of these Hall of Fame or potential Hall of Fame level quarterbacks, I mean, it's tough when they can just sit there and do whatever they want. But like you said, we'll get a little more into that once we know all the matchups and we can talk about how things might measure up. But I do want to say, as a Steelers fan, in the playoffs, the only team I don't want to see is the Baltimore Ravens. That's it. It's the only team I don't want to see. And the only reason I say that, it's not because I think they're the best or match up the best. It's because it would be the hardest team to say that's who we lost to.
That's fair. That makes things better because I'm like, I understand your loyalty and your confidence, but I think you are an underdog to a lot of teams in the AFC.
No, I think the Steelers would be favored, I think. It's just if we were to beat the Ravens twice and then them beat us in the playoffs, that would be for the next year. That's all I would hear about when, see, your 2 wins were fake in the regular season. Couldn't beat them when it mattered. And it would be Lamar's first playoff win. Like,
as it sits right now at this very moment, I believe the Ravens are at Pittsburgh, correct?
They are, as it sits. Yeah, but if something was to move and all the high seeds win, except maybe the Ravens, like, I'd rather have the Ravens take on the Chiefs first. Like, let them have a crack at it since they always have big games.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard anything about the Bills resting their starters because they want to lock up the 2 seed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
they don't.
If they beat the Dolphins, I think the Dolphins are, if I had to guess right now, out of the 10 AFC 10-5 teams, Titans, Colts, Browns, Ravens, Dolphins, in your opinion, who do you think is going to miss the playoffs? I think it's the Dolphins, which is crazy, but I think it's the Dolphins. Ravens play the Bengals, Titans play the Texans, Colts play the Jaguars, and Browns play the Steelers B team. However, if the Browns lose to Mason Rudolph and the second stringers, that would be spicy.
You say second stringers. Who's all not playing? Ben?
I think Ben's out, and Mike Tomlin, it's early in the season, but he said we'll speculate leaving out other big players. I expect TJ Watt, Minka, Joe Hayden, Cameron Hayward, and maybe even Tuitt and Vince Williams to sit. I think we sit our big 6 on defense.
Wow.
I think because they all need a rest before the postseason. So I think our best corner, safety, 2 D linemen, 2 linebackers, Big Ben. And then if Big Ben sits out, I would imagine maybe Marquise Pouncey at center. DeCastro's missed a few games. They might let him sit out. I expect us to fully say we're going to be the 3 seed. And unless we somehow beat the Browns and the Bills, lose, sure, but we'd rather take the bye than fight for something that's out of our reach.
Yeah.
So
interesting, because truly, I don't want to pick the Dolphins, but I think the Dolphins have a fair shot in that game.
No, they do. They only lost by a field goal, but I think the Bills are one of the hottest teams, and I don't like what's going on with the quarterbacks for the Dolphins.
Agree.
I think the Bills win the game to lock up the 2 seed, and then, the Ravens, Colts, and Titans all play, actually, they all play top 4 pick teams. Bengals, Texans, Jags are those opponents. So
yeah,
winning situations, you'd expect them to win. And then it comes down to the Browns and Dolphins playing the 2 and 3 seed, who are kind of, who's not going to play for the Steelers. The Bills win and they clinch the 2. I think that really matters to them, because that also means if anybody upsets the Kansas City Chiefs, they're at home for the AFC Championship game.
So if the Rams lose this week and they drop out of the playoffs,
I don't think the Rams can drop out of the playoffs.
No, they definitely can drop out of the playoffs. They can miss the playoffs. They have things have to happen, but they can definitely miss the playoffs.
Okay, yes, you're right. Yeah, if the Rams lose.
Wait, do the Bears have to lose for them to miss it? I think the Bears have to lose.
Yeah, but if the Bears beat the Rams, I'm pretty sure, earlier in the year.
I guess I don't remember.
Yeah, it's weird because it only shows me how to clinch, not how you can lose. No, the Rams actually beat the Bears. I think it would have to be the Cardinals.
I just wonder if because, for instance, if the Bears can get up to the 6th seed and play the Seattle Seahawks, that's an interesting matchup.
I just don't understand really how the Rams haven't clinched a playoff. It should tell me they clinch a playoff if they win or if Chicago loses.
Yeah, so if they lose and Chicago wins, the team that beats the Rams this weekend, I believe, would be the Cardinals, and that's how they would get in. Yes, because they play the Cardinals. So the Cardinals would get in over them. That's how it happens.
Yeah, yes. And the Cardinals clinch a playoff berth with a win.
Because they beat the Rams.
And Chicago clinches a playoff berth if they win or if Arizona loses. Because if the Rams win, Chicago stay at the 7.
So they're.
But if the Cardinals win,
they're rooting to win and the Cardinals to win, so they can move up a seed.
Even though the Rams have the head-to-head tiebreaker over Chicago, the first tiebreaker is divisional record. If the Chicago Bears, no, that doesn't make any sense either, because they would both be, the Rams would drop to 2 and 4 in division, and the Bears would be 3 and 3, thus going ahead on divisional record.
Isn't that crazy? Because we've talked about the Rams all year. We both think they're a good team. In general, they're a good team, but really, they're 9-6. 4 of their wins are against the NFC East. They're 5-6 against everybody else.
Here's another something that's small, because it does matter. If the Rams beat the Cardinals and go to 10-5, I think the Buccaneers are locked in the 5 seed regardless.
I don't think they can move.
Yeah, they can.
The Rams have to win and the Bucs have to lose.
Yep, because then they would both be 3 and 3 in division, and Rams
beat the Bucs.
So there's Buccaneers could potentially be the 6th seed. And
Buccaneers aren't losing this weekend. Who are they playing? The Falcons?
They are playing the Falcons.
Yeah, they're not losing this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they want.
The Falcons have been playing really good football.
I know they have. I think they want to play at Washington. It's almost. I'm not saying it's a free win, but right now Washington is the most disgruntled playoff team.
For Chicago's got to beat Green Bay. Green Bay does hold the tiebreaker over the Saints for the 1st seed. However, they do not own it over the Seattle Seahawks. So if the Packers lose to the Bears and the Seahawks win, and they're both 12-4, the Seahawks would jump the Packers. The Packers would fall all the way to, I don't even know how that would work, because the Saints, Seahawks, and Packers would all be 12-4, and the tiebreakers are all a little weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that can move and stuff. It's almost not worth it to keep running into every.
Yeah.
Some of you guys listening are like, "Oh no, you're forgetting about this or that," and we probably
Yeah.
are because we're jumping all over the place. So the
We're just
thing is,
talking hypotheticals at this point
yeah,
anyway.
and Jeff and I both know where our teams are going to be, going forward. So we don't know too many different scenarios. That's not a shot at the Patriots.
It was.
I ain't like that
Actually,
though.
I
I
don't
don't.
know because I truly, and it sounds crazy, I want to lose to the Jets. I want the best pick possible at this point.
You want the best pick possible so that you can send it over to Miami so that you can have Tua?
No, I don't want Tua.
Oh shit, you don't want
I've
Tua.
never wanted Tua. I didn't want him last year
You want
either.
Kyle Pitts is what you want.
I do want Pitts. Pitts or Smith. Devonta Smith or Kyle
You want
Pitts.
you
Yeah.
want
Oh
Kyle.
yeah. Oh, I
He's a
would snuggle my pillow a little tighter if we drafted
good.
Kyle Pitts.
He's
So
so
honestly, I'll bring it up. He's a similar Aaron Hernandez style player. He's not your big bulky Gronk and Travis Kelce.
play wide receiver.
What's that?
Could play wide receiver.
He's literally a wide receiver playing tight end. He is Aaron Hernandez. I mean, both went to Florida too. It's just kind of weird, but they're the same player. I mean, they're very speedful. They're impactful, great with the catch. I mean, you can use them, line them up anywhere you want. They don't have to be down in a 3-point stance. Yeah.
Mock draft that had Pittsburgh taking Kyle Trask. So me and my dad were sitting there. We're like, let's just watch it. Shout out to Brad Senior. I know you're watching. And we decided to watch it, and we literally like every 1 or 2 plays. We look, is this a Kyle Pitts highlight or a Kyle Trask highlight? Like
Right?
you didn't know. It was just every great play was like Pitts, 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 and it's
Yeah.
like, huh? Is that indicative to Kyle Trask, or do they just help each other? Two great players happen to be playing with each other in college.
Well, Kyle Trask played great even when Pitts was out. So I mean, he's a good player. So
Well, that's the real talk rankings. Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl, so 1st to 7, that'll be fun.
yeah.
Playoffs start for a lot of teams tomorrow, though. Playoffs start for a lot of teams tomorrow.
How exciting!
Super exciting.
How exciting! What a great time for football.
Kind of nice, going from 2 weeks ago, we were about to play the Browns for the division, or I mean, that's what they thought. Obviously, we knew we were going to beat the Colts. Not a big deal. But now it's like we're just going to send out Mason Rudolph and see if he can't upset the Browns. No penalty if you lose, cool if you win. But Shim, if you're listening, you should come over and watch it. I know you want to stay at home just in case, but come on.
All right, guys, it's been real. I hope you guys all had a great Christmas, and now have a happy New Year. We will see you next year. Next year, real talk.
Next year.
Sign it off. Go Pats.
Yep, Real Talk 2020. Go Steelers.